Here's the teams. The Wigan Warriors have Mathers as a late replacement for the sick Pat Richards. Then it's Colbon, Goulding, Carmont and Phelps. Barrett wears the captain's armband alongside Thomas Luluai. Forwards, Fielden, McIlorum and Coley, Tompkins, Hansen and Hock. And the substitutes, it's Hyam, Paliacina, O'Carroll and young Lee Mossop. The coach is Brian Noble. Here's the Saints, 1-7. It's as you were. Wellens, Gardner, Gidley, Talau, Melly, Price and Long. Up front, Graham, Cunningham the skipper, Hargreaves, Gilmore, Wilkin and Sculthorpe. And the reinforcements on the bench. Kalis is back. He eases his way back into the action off the bench with Roby, Flannery and Farsavalu. Coach Daniel Anderson. Joint leaders with Leeds Rhinos, just top on points difference, 6 rounds to go. And can Daniel Anderson make it 4 straight table-topping years in a row? They won their first 2 visits to this ground, but they failed to win any of their next 11 between 2001 and 2005. And what a moment for Sean Long. He was let go by Wigan over a decade ago. Tonight, it's his 300th St Helens appearance in the home of his biggest and bitterest rivals. Well, Wigan have a wonderful record at home. They've lost just once at home this year to the Catalan Dragons in April. 5th in the table behind Warrington. They're at Huddersfield tomorrow, live on Sky Sports. Wigan entertain Huddersfield here next week. That's the game in hand. It's the 18th meeting with St Helens since the move to the JJB Stadium. Wigan have won 11. They've drawn 1. St Helens have only won here 5 times. And it's a cracking atmosphere. Over 17,000 tickets pre-sold. It looks like there's at least another 5,000 or 6,000 in here tonight. Wigan Saints, it doesn't come any bigger than this for the supporters. And Ashley Klein's the man in the middle. And he has got a very tough job on his hands, keeping these 2 warring factions apart. I must say they've spent the thick end of £350,000 on this pitch in the close season for the Premier League and of course for the Super League. And the pitch is looking in green velvet condition. Absolutely perfect for Wigan against St Helens. And it's the Saints who are in the light blue jerseys and will attack from left to right as we watch, and this game is underway. And Luluai picks the ball up for the Wigan Warriors. There's the first challenge of the match, and the place is bristling, Steve-O.
Certainly is, and so are we. The players will be giving everything they've got. You look through the smog there. It's taking a long way. There's drizzle coming through. It's holding it down onto the ground surface. But it's the opening 10 minutes. This is where you've got to get a feel, and that's the man playing the balls, Stuart Fielden. Watch for the clash against Jason Kalish. The 2 big boys. Whoop.
Ball is lost by the Wigan Warriors. Michael McIlorum says he had hold of the ball, but Ashley Klein's view, it wasn't stolen, it was a fumble.
Well, he could have been penalised, actually, for placing the ball down before he regained his feet. Wilkin over the top. He's certainly got the arm in there, and as he pulls away, he's lost control.
Ball didn't actually hit the ground, though, did it? But anyway, Ashley Klein at ground level saw it differently. This is St Helens then with Gidley to Sculthorpe. Paul Sculthorpe, 2 tries, 2 goals last week. His first 2-try appearance in 4 years. Graham now for the Saints.
It's important that Wigan really get their defensive pattern sorted out. They've got to be tough tonight to have any chance of beating the St Helens side, who are in absolutely sensational form.
Wellens gets to his feet, plays the ball to Cunningham. Here is Graham. That's Sculthorpe. He went past 1, but Carmont was there, importantly for Wigan to bring him down. They're 10 metres short of the line, the Saints on the last tackle. Long to Gilmore! Opening try for St Helens. First attack from St Helens. First try from St Helens. Not the start Wigan wanted. Just what the doctor ordered for them. And the league leaders ahead. courtesy of a man who was in the Wigan Grand Final team in 1998. He also won the Young Player of the Year award that year. Daniel Anderson delighted with the start, and Lee Gilmore's opening try, and St Helens are ahead by 4 points to 0.
And the Warriors, they've fallen for the sucker punch. They anticipated the kick. You could see Sean Long, he comes into the blindside area. This is the knock-on that was given controversially by Ashley Klein, the official, and from that position, see how Long came in on the angle. They anticipated he was just going to dab it through with the boot. He wasn't. He had Gilmore outside. They'd moved up. Thomas Luluwai had gone early. He probably wanted to get in between, and he couldn't in time. How many times has Gilmore and how many times has St Helens opened within the seconds of the kickoff?
Lee Gilmore with the try, his fourth of the campaign. He got a try against Wigan in Cardiff as well in the Millennium Magic weekend, which of course from 2009 will be moving north to Murrayfield in Edinburgh. It'll be the Magic weekend next year. It was a Magic weekend for St Helens in 2008. They absolutely took Wigan to the cleaners, and Long, on his 300th appearance for the Saints, has added the extras. It's the perfect start.
Luluwai stands back. He thought it was going to be a kick, and by the time he realised that it was Gilmore that had it, he was off balance. Nothing was going to stop him. Got it down cleanly.
St Helens have been able to start games at a higher tempo than their opponents in recent weeks. But what was most noticeable in that first passage of possession was that they had two forwards passing the ball before the line. Hargreaves was one, I think Sculthorpe was the second. They clearly work on the skill factor, but they then use the skill to maximum effect when out on the field.
Well, Tony Ray highlighted the magnificent start that St Helens have made in this run of theirs that's taken them to 11 straight Super League wins. He actually, Steve McNamara, conversely said that that might go against them when the big games come along. I think you wouldn't mind being 6-0 up here after 3 or 4 minutes, would you?
I think it's self-threatening day of the week, wouldn't you? And they're starting to look like the start of this game at a real hot pace here. Wigan just need to obviously make sure they get through this set of 6 here and settle down with the ball.
This is the last tackle for St Helens. It's played there to Cunningham. There's a dab over the top for Wilkin, and Wilkin going down the line was looking for Melly, and the ball just skimmed away off this beautiful, lush JJB Stadium turf. But St Helens, they are inventive with every play.
And that really should have resulted in a try. There was no one at home. No one there at all, and he just could not get the fingertips to it. Tremendous chip over the top, just a touch too strong from Wilkin there. Little doubt in my mind, Daniel Anderson, the Saints coach, has said, come on, let's rip this Wigan outfit apart early on.
And it was a good example of variety that St Helens use in the kicking game. The vast majority go through Sean Long, but Wilkin with his left foot on the left-hand side of the field, and Gidley with his right over in the right centre position. Both will find 1 or 2 kicks throughout this game.
It's a big hit then on Fielden from Kieran Cunningham and company. Here is Gareth Hawk.
He felt it as well. Fielden is wobbling around in back play. He's not at the races at the moment.
Here's Andy Coley for Wigan now, but making no progress forward with those 3. They release him. He plays the ball to McIloran, and Barrett with the kick. And this will land in the arms of the leading try scorer in Super League, A.D. Gardner. Oh, McIloran went in a little high and a little recklessly.
Oh, that is a shocker. That is not a lazy tackle. That is intentional. I'm sorry. There is no excuse for that.
Do you feel, Steve, that there's a potential use of a sin-bin in this case?
Well, without a doubt. I know the rules state that if
he's gone to the back pocket.
He's got to go.
He's gone to the back pocket. It's red. It's a red card for McIloran. Ashley Klein had a clear view of it. He went to the back pocket. As soon as he did that, Wigan's hearts must have sunk, because he didn't point to the dressing room and raise the fingers for 10 minutes. Brian Noble looks ruefully on. McIloran sent off inside the opening 6 minutes.
And there's no excuse for it, Eddie. I was just trying to explain the fact that the rules, if your sin bin is 10 minutes, okay, but if it's really malicious ambitious, then you've got to either send him off or leave him out there on the paddock. And that is what Ashley Klein has done. And I take my hat off to Klein. I really do. The Wigan fans are stunned, but it was a bad one, and it fully deserved a send-off.
Let's go straight down to Bill.
Very absolute astonishment on the Wigan bench at that decision, not just on the bench, but on the field as well. Right in front of me, George Carmont and Thomas Luluai were side by side, and Luluai's hands were on his hips, then his head was in his hands. He could not believe it. Carmont turned on him and said, forget it, let's get on with it. And that's what Wigan have got to do now.
Well, they are. They're down to 12 men, and they're going to play St Helens with 12 men for virtually the entire match. That's a good take by Richie Mathers.
That'll be fantastic for his confidence as well. He's been a little bit shaky from time to time, and the crowd behind the post, anything that goes high, anything that's involved a big bash in the tackling department, they will be on the back of Ashley Klein. They do not like it at all that he's being sent off, McAlorum.
Eddie, we've seen some heroic efforts with 12 men here at the JJB Stadium. Cast your mind back to 2003 when Great Britain had Adrian Waller dismissed and almost went on with 12 men to defeat Australia. This is not over for Wigan.
No, it isn't. There's no question of that. And they have a penalty here, Wigan, for interference at the play of the ball.
Well, I've got to, I think that's about just evened up the scale. This is a hard one. This is shocking. I'm sorry.
Well, I think Ashley Klein was left with nowhere to go.
Yeah, you're right, because of the thing, he cocked the arm back. It wasn't as though he was going into a tackle and then just slipped up. He cocked it back, just like a gun, and then went bang.
Well, the Wigan supporters can't believe it. But as Phil Clark says, you know, their backs are against the wall now. And in the past, teams have come good in the face of adversity.
They certainly have, but they don't often face a team as good as St Helens, and they got caught for offside, not retiring the full 10. Oh, they've gone for a quick one.
Quick tap, it's Coley. And Wigan supporters screaming that Saints weren't back to 10.
I thought they always offloaded.
He has to Luluai. Here is Barrett. Back it comes now to Harrison Hansen.
They need to just calm down a little bit, Wigan. They'll be furious. They're not thinking about the job in hand. Good
Great
offload by
offload.
Fielden.
Fielden to Luluai. Luluai spinning and keeping going. And there's a chance here for Wigan to respond with Carmont and Barrett. And Barrett bullets the pass to Mathers. He gets it away here. This is Darrell Golding. St Helens clawing down just 2 meters short of the line. Back again to Barrett. Barrett with a kick, looking for the runners, but only find Matt Gidley. It wasn't the best from Trent Barrett.
He'll be bitterly disappointed with the Australian because they had the opportunity to just camp down there straight into the arms of the centre Gidley, when really it would have been better to dink it into the in-goal area. Try to get possession. They need it to calm themselves down.
Eddie, Wigan's biggest decision now is which player to ask to play as the acting half, or traditionally the hooking role in rugby league. The man who stands behind the play of the ball. I've often highlighted how vital I think that position is. Probably the most important in the modern day game. We're going to have to make a quick decision who they put there.
Graham with the flat pass and offside. Offside against Wigan at that play of the ball.
Well, Stuart Fielden making himself known to the official. It's not his capacity to do that. Trent Barrett is the captain. But there were 2 or 3 in front. He wanted to see whether there was any advantage. There's a man who had plenty to say, and there's the gentleman who received it.
Come on, shoot! Listen, come on.
Well, only the 4th Wigan man to be sent off in this fixture. I'm sorry, I'll come back to that in a moment. Richie Mathers was sent off, of course, at Warrington earlier on in the season for Wigan. This is Sean Long.
Wigan were hanging that back on their defensive line there. Long couldn't realise that there was so much space.
Sorry, the point I was going to make is McAlorum's only the 4th man to be sent off in the Super League era for Wigan, but they've had 2 this year now. Chance here for the Cunningham special, and the ball has come free, And Ashley Klein would like the video referee Ben Thaler to make the decision. Cunningham's body language and smile says he gets this down. What say you, Ben Thaler?
I think he's lost it. No, he's got it down. That shows it all. Sheer strength from Kieran Cunningham. Well, they talk about Leon Price having a tremendous season. That he certainly has. But I think that's confirmation that Kieran Cunningham, who has been outstanding also, yeah, he's got his fingertips on that. There's no other Wigan hand around. And Cunningham surely will be given the TRY on this.
This is going to be confirmation, maybe, of Kieran Cunningham's try from Ben Thaler. It is, and Kieran Cunningham punches the air, because that is the 160th try for St Helens in this, his 428th game. A milestone for Kieran Cunningham.
Tremendous.
The most tries by a forward in St Helens history. Kieran Cunningham, it's 10-0.
Been a tremendous servant to them, hasn't he? But it was the build-up to this that really stunned me. Okay, he showed the strength and he got through 3 of the Wigan defenders. But on the build-up, the Wigan defence, they held back. Sean Long actually walked 4 or 5 metres, didn't run. And there's confirmation.
No.
They are happy.
Sean Long here then, trying to add the extras for St Helens. This for a 12-0 lead. Sean Long, the 300th appearance for Wigan, as I say, and 2 goals already for St Helens here tonight. 300 on the board for Saints, for the ex-Wigan man. And Daniel Anderson, well, I don't think he could possibly have dreamt a start like this in his sleep last night.
I think you're right, Eddie, but also Daniel Anderson, he has enough brains to be sending out the message now. Okay, we've got 12 points on the board. They're down to 12. We have 12. They've got 12 players out on the paddock. We have got to make sure that we continue. This is no time to relax.
Mathers with the restart. Gardner underneath it. Here is Bryn Hargreaves. Young man there with a point to prove. Bryn Hargreaves. He has started the last 5 while Kalis is out. This is Leon Price. Haven't seen too much of Leon Price tonight so far, but look at the score, 12-0 Saints, and they have another penalty here for offside.
It's going to be a problem for Wigan, mainly due to the fact they are down to 12. That means they've got to compact their defence. They've got to come in from wide, come in on the angle. Now that gives them the opportunity. How many times this year have we seen the ability of Matt Gidley and A.D. Gardner combine? If they start getting it out wide, Saints, now, they should get a bucketful.
It's Cunningham, the dummy half, 20 metres away from the line. Flannery is on, off the bench.
Look to touch forward there.
Well, Wigan are on the back of the referee for every half decision now that they believe should be going their way. The Wigan supporters, that is. Cunningham tips the ball inside. It finds its way to Graham. And Graham stands in the tackle. Gets the ball away. Desperate defence needed by Luluai on Hargreaves, and it was. This is Long. Long finds Price. Price to Gidley. Gidley to Gardner forward. No try, forward pass.
That was a point that I was making, though. They've got to take the gamble, Wigan, of pushing in and trying to stop it, Steve.
Well, I think they've got to do that, Steve, because down to 12 men, I thought you saw Phil's stats at the start of the game where St Helens are going to cruise through the middle of the ruck, and if there's a shorter number in our Wigan, if they get a little bit loose in that area, they'll get murdered. They've got to stay strong around the ruck area, and if the Saints are going to score, they're going to have to go right round the edges as they've tried to do then, and hopefully they come up with an handling error for Wigan, just as Saints did there.
For the good of the contest, for the neutrals, probably a good call from Ashley Klein. Let's go down to the sideline and Bill.
Eddie, the one dark cloud for this great start for St Helens is the fact that Paul Sculthorpe has had to leave the field prematurely, and I hate to say it, but they were looking at his knee again. Of course, he's been in great form since coming back from that injury, but he has had to leave the field, and Chris Flannery is on. And ominously for Wigan, the sight of James Roby just out briefly to warm up, as well as Jason Kalis.
Certainly won't get any easier for the Wigan Warriors tonight, that is for sure. Bad news about Paul Sculthorpe. He has started the last 6 matches, having a good run of form and a good run in the first team. They'll be anxiously looking at that, bearing in mind that we are rapidly moving into the business end of the season.
I think you'd see when we had the shot where he sat on the bench there, Eddie, is that Paul Sculthorpe, I think he knows that it's quite a bad injury. He's had plenty of experience, sadly, over the past 3 years. But he looks very upset indeed.
Cunningham, dummy half, meanwhile, for St Helens. Here is Lee Gilmore. And down he goes in the tackle. That's a good harassing by Fielden and Gareth Hock. Cunningham goes down the left channel with Graham.
So powerful, Saints, aren't they, on that first receiver? Maybe sometimes to the left, then to the right. Oh, great hands, but good defence.
Yes, scrambling defence from Wigan, keeping them at bay. Here is Leon Price. Now it's Sean Long. Up goes the kick. It's high and it's hanging. It's a tester here. Everyone has missed it. And the ball is flicked back. And it's still on the last tackle. This is Wellens. Oh, Wellens gets the ball round the corner to Flannery. Oh, he says it was a forward pass. It's the turnover.
Again, Wigan in all sorts of trouble when that high bomb went up there. No one really showing any sort of confidence to go for it. Gidley there trying to appeal to the official. Last declined that it came off a Wigan player, but it was going forward.
Well, that's straight high from Hargreaves, but although the crowd were definitive in their version of events, the referee just brushed any appeal away. Now St Helens concede another penalty. Wilkin, interference.
Wigan desperate now for possession, and penalties are the best way of getting out of the half. You saw the graphic at the bottom of the page there. The statistic shows that St Helens have had 5 times more possession inside their opponent's half. We're almost reaching the quarter-way mark in this game. That has to alter if Wigan are to have any hope of winning this match.
Penalty count is level at 3 apiece, but St Helens have conceded less penalties than any other team in Super League this season, and that is a crime from Gareth Hock.
Silly play. You've just received a penalty. You've gone 30 metres upfield. Very rarely have you been in an attacking position. And then you try to offload.
Wait, go behind and wait. Gareth, wait, go.
This is Cunningham. Fires the pass to Long, and that finds its way on the bounce to the cherry and white jersey that belongs to Liam Colborne.
That just shows you complacency can set into a team once they race to a pretty commanding lead, and that's what Saints have done. 12-0. Daniel Anderson, the Saints coach, will get the message. He'll be furious with that.
Here's Trent Barrett. Barrett gives it to Mathers. Mathers tries to cut in field, but just loses his footing on this turf. Carmont and Barrett finds Luluai. Important tackle that by Gilmore, the last in this set of 6 for Wigan. Carmont, dummy half. On the bounce, it finds its way to Trent Barrett. Up it goes in the air, very high. Colbomb palms it back. Oh, straight to Wilkin. Into the arms of Leon Price. Leon Price is away. He's got Melly with it. Oh! Melly has dropped what would have been a certain try.
He can't believe it, and neither can the thousands behind the sticks on the left-hand side. It was near suicide there, knocking it back when there was no one into it. Leon Price did everything right. Well, and the winger looks up and says, that's where I have to score. You've got to get the ball first. Well, they're smiling.
Well, Daniel
behind
Anderson
him, behind him, saying, oh, well, there'll be more of that to come, but I'm not so sure.
19 minutes of the match, 12-0 up St Helens. That would have probably been 18-0. When we look back on this match, I wonder whether that was a turning point.
Well, it could be.
Big call, Phil, I know, but
I think Wigan need to improve radically. OK, Saints have come up with 2 uncharacteristic errors in the last 3 minutes, but I don't see them getting many more. I think a big moment for Wigan is when Palliasina comes onto the field. It's hard to break through St Helens' defence. When he enters the field and gets to carry the ball, I think Wigan need to support him. He's perhaps the best hope of making a dent in that blue line.
Well, the big figure of Palliasina comes on, and Andy Coley goes off as Trent Barrett hangs on here for Wigan. And here's another penalty for
A high shot.
Wigan against St Helens. It's the fourth penalty that Saints have conceded here.
Wilkins certainly went over the top, underneath the chin. And well spotted by Ashley Klein. He's in top form. And that's good thinking, you know, by Trent Barrett. You know, the last time they got a penalty deep down in St Helens half, they rushed, they got on with it. They just settled down. Get in, let's get in and maybe get it. If we can't score in this first occasion, let's have another set of 6.
It's Luluai, they're 10 metres out. Paliasina's first touch.
A good one too. Attracts 3.
Luluai. And that's Gareth Hock. Gets it back to Luluai. Try, Wigan. Thomas Luluai with the try. Paliasina creating havoc in the St Helens defence. He's not giving it up. Brian Noble. Luluai limping a bit after scoring the try. But remember, Francis Melly dropped one in the middle of the pitch. The scrum went down, then they conceded a penalty, and now Wigan have the first try, and that will do their confidence the power of good.
Certainly did. All came about by the swinging arm from Wilkin, allowed him to get possession. As I mentioned before, Trent Barrett, the captain on the night, says calm it. And it was a good offload on this occasion from Hawk. There was nobody there. They were very slow. James Graham, he gave up. Look at him stood there. It was too late. Luluai's got it. They're back in the game. I think he's saying the next 10, it's important. We keep the ball.
Cameron Phelps adds the extras. Could have been 18-0 to St Helens. Is 12-6.
I think Phil's point about Paliasina come on was a real important one. The fact is, when he comes on now, a great offload and gone back through the ruck there with Luluai, and that's how they need to go to break the St Helens side down. But whilst ever Paliasina's on, you need to hold on to the ball as long as you can, because as devastating as he's going to be carrying the ball here, you don't want to be doing too much running around defensively with 12 men, with some of you bigger men out there. So I watched OKR last week against Wigan do the opposite. They held the ball for about 50 tackles on the trot. It'd be nice for Wigan if they could do the same now.
Well, it's a big 10 minutes, as Brian Noble indicated, and maybe he said, give it to the number 10, and this is him, Paliasina. Wigan lift when he is in this sort of mood. Now it's George Carmont.
You mentioned it, Eddie. That drop ball from Malley, it could have just stretched the lead sufficiently enough for the heads to go down at Wigan, and now it's game on. And for all you viewers, that's what really counts.
Here's Paliasina again. Such a difficult man to put down, such power. Luluai dummy half. Kicks towards the corner. Melly is after it, doesn't drop it this time.
He wasn't thinking of passing either. He was going to make sure that he'd done everything right.
Wellens now for St Helens. He's on the verge of a bit of a milestone as well. His next try is his 140th for the Saints. Flannery down under pressure from Fielder. Good run from Wellens, the full-back.
Tremendous play. When you've got a man that thinks all the time, comes in from the dummy half, just lets the usual half-backs have a bit of a rest, that is a great kick.
It is,
tremendous kick.
It's outside the 40.
But look at the chase.
He did well, Mathers, then, actually. The chase was magnificent. Look at them, St Helens swarming around the cherry and white jerseys.
And look, there are 3 Wigan players still yet to get back into their own side.
3 tackles gone, 14 metres gained forward. A couple more here. Well, Roby and Farsavalou join in. Here is Paliasina, down he goes.
Isn't it great to watch, as Phil mentioned, Paliasina comes on, lifts the game, and it'll be the same exactly for St Helens fans when the big fella Farsavalou gets the ball.
Meanwhile, this is Adi Gardner. He's got 21 tries, a try in each of the last 3. Top scorer in the Super League. Oh, that ball has come free.
Play on.
And 0 tackle. The referee wipes the tackle count down.
Oh, looking to get away with that.
And again, it's wiped down once more. Another 0 tackle coming here. at Wigan hand in this.
Well, it looked as though Barrett was going to get it, and then he scooped it, he went back. Boy, that could have just changed the complexion of this game as well. But Saints, they're so efficient. Oh, not on that occasion. They have allowed Wigan to get the ball. Fasavalu raises the arm. It's my problem. He had a little look at what he was going into.
They're doing a great job winging out the small and sound defensively. They're covering that ruck area, Steve. They're not giving St Helens a sniff in that area. They're showing them some space on the outside, but the conditions are a little bit greasy. It's hard for them to go there, and they're forcing some errors, and they've really played some perfect rugby at this moment.
Are you surprised, Steve, that Saints are not getting it out wide, that they're still maintaining to go down the middle?
Well, no, with 12 men, I'll wait to see this break here.
This is Cameron Phelps. The break comes to an end because 3 moved across to cut him down. And then George Carmont now.
He's been in great form as a centre. If there's anybody out there that can really lift them, it's Carmont.
Barrett's pass infield. And that's Harrison Hansen. He plays the ball to Luluai. Now, Paliasina again. Straight at Fasavalu. Luluai, they're 11 metres from the St Helens line. Barrett passes to Mathers. It goes wide to Colbon. Couldn't get round Melly.
Kept his ground there, Melly. That was good. One-on-one.
Here's Barrett again. Jinks away from Leon Price. Gets the kick in. Wellens with a bit of work to do here and does it. Gets the ball over the goal line. Back into the field of play, otherwise it would have been a goal line dropout. Here is Roby. Great work from Roby. Priceless meters forward.
Certainly is. They're under pressure there. Full credit, though, to...
Great run from Gidley.
But full credit to Wigan, you know. They've sorted their defensive pattern out very strong indeed. They're having to play, as Steve McNamara said, a very tight sliding defence, but it's been effective so far.
St Helens get over the halfway line. Great ball off the deck from Roby to Leon Price. That's the last tackle. And Wilkin dabs the ball towards the corner and leads the chase himself. Oh, there's work for Colbon to do here. Colbon does it. Fantastic effort from Wilkin, though. Great defence from Colbon. Wonderful attack from that man, Wilkin. Great football from both sides.
Champagne Rugby League right into the corner. It is a problem. That's the third occasion that Liam Colbon has been caught out, getting back late. Full credit on that occasion. He's snuffed it out, but it'll be a dropout. It's very muggy out there. This is going to be taxing on all the players' bodies. And as the game goes on, when you're down to 12, that means you've got to do extra work. That means you'll tire quickly.
Eddie, we're approaching him at the half-hour mark. I'm not sure it's just my opinion, but Leon Price doesn't seem to have had much of his much of the ball in his hands, really, and whether that's a conscious ploy or whether it's just the way sometimes that the game goes. He's come on support players and not got possession. But I guess Daniel Anderson will be hoping that he can get closer to the action and maybe provide some more impact.
Yes, you're right. He has had a quiet game so far, Leon Price. That one break and the pass inside to Melly that Melly dropped. Other than that, it's been the other St Helens players, which is unusual this year because Price is having a magnificent 2008. Here is Roby. Now it's with Long. Short ball, finds Flannery.
Great tackle from Barrett. Went right round the legs of Flannery. No chance of going forward.
Fasavalu trying to out-muscle them in defence there.
Step from Price, maybe?
No, it's with Long. Step from Long then. Gets the ball back. It's still on. Oh, it's a knock-on, that by Wigan. He'll bring them back for the knock-on. Couldn't get the ball on the ground, Wigan, and they knocked it forward. It's going to be head and feet to St Helens, this.
Again, Long nearly just caught them napping.
Oh, yeah. And now you heard the whistle in the background. The referee has now given Wigan a penalty for back-chatting and dissent. Given St Helens the penalty, the penalty against Wigan. Here is Graham.
Not surprisingly, they tapped and run it. It's going to take good defence to stop them now.
Roby! He's over. Roby gets the try. Well, Brian Noble will be furious because it was a clear knock-on by Wigan. It was a definite scrum head and feed to St Helens. Somebody spoke out of turn to referee Ashley Klein. Instead of it being scrum down, it became a penalty. And you don't give Saints penalties 10 metres out in front of your own sticks because Roby comes up with the try. The man of steel in 2007. 6 tries in his last Super League matches. Wow.
Great effort. You see, they anticipated yet again that it was Long that was going to put the kick in. He went for the power play. He had the wherewithal to offload it in the end. They are struggling in this defensive line, Wigan, and it was to be expected. It's just too much guile and too much strength. Head down, spins around, they're on the roll again.
And as Roby scores that try and Long lines up this conversion attempt, the rain is pouring down. This glorious British summer continues, but this glorious St Helens run of form is continuing. They're 18-6 up.
Hock went for the football, just knocked it on. He gets the scrum down and then a few words are said. Well, Mr. Carmon.
Well, was it Carmon or was it Mathers?
And either way, it looked to me as though it was Carmon. He was eyeball to eyeball.
Just make a point there, Eddie. When you're down to 12 men, you'll notice when Wigan have got the ball, you can't tell that much that they're down to 12 men. And when you think about it, basically, Wigan have got 12 players and Saints have got 13, but obviously they've got a full-back sitting in back play there, so it's really 12 on 12 in the front line. When you turn the other side of the coin, you know, if all the Saints players play on the play, they've got 13. Wigan have got 12, but they've got a full-back out the back. It's 13 on 11, so it's defensively when you really feel the pinch there. They look pretty good with the ball, Wigan, and look solid defensively up the middle. They've just got to stay disciplined throughout this game and try and just stay in there.
Very difficult, though, isn't it, when St Helens are in this vein of form that they've been showing over the past 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, and the way the numerical advantage, when you talk about it there, coming out in yardage, St Helens really. Obviously, there's a lot of one-up carries and dummy half runs, so not all the players are playing there on that play. But when they get to this end of the park where they're at now, they all come alive. All 13 players play, and it's just too much to handle certainly when you're a man down.
St Helens caught not standing square at the play the ball. Penalty. And it's clear. It was Flannery and Gardner. Flannery went left far too quickly.
It's not the best kick there from Barrett. It's gained about 3 metres. Either way, they've got ball in hand. A lot more hard work is needed now by the forwards in the cherry and white stripes.
Hyam is out there. Here is Palliasina.
Stand! Here we are, James and White. White, go!
Hyam again. And Barrett, that ball was going behind him, actually. He had to check before he made sure he had possession. It's Mathers.
4, Stanley! Yeah, Murray, wait.
Mickey Hyam waits again. Finds Trent Barrett atop his chest. Well, if Trent Barrett is suffering with a little slip in form, Wigan will suffer.
Technical schoolboy errors, I'm afraid.
He's won so much, this fella, in his career, you know, but just 1 of 6 against St Helens. That's the only time he's been on the winning side.
I think you could say that because he knows he's leaving at the end of the season, Eddie, I think he's trying too hard. I think he's trying to do far too much.
Well, he will be annoyed with that mistake because it means that Saints have this possession midway inside the Wigan half. And here they come again here with Wilkin.
It's like we've seen so often with the St Helens outfit. They are getting over the advantage line with considerable ease. They are now looking towards the inside pass throughout.
That's Farsivalou. Jason Kalis is on the field as well, ominously for Wigan. It's long and short ball to Gilmore, and Gilmore is held up just short of the line. Important tackle that by Mathers. Roby, back he comes to Long. Long will slide the kick through, and that is just simply hoofed behind the post by Darryl Goulding.
Read it well as well, the centre. Goulding knew that they were under pressure, but he just teases them. Time and time again, the name Sean Long.
Steve, you're in the England setup, you know, heaven forbid something happens to Rob Burrow, where do we look for a number 7? Does Tony Smith say to Sean Long, come out of retirement, get down there and take part in the World Cup?
We'll have to ask him when you get a chance, Eddie. I'm not sure what the answer is there.
I thought you might be in the mix.
There's a few other scrum halves there who'll stake a claim.
Well,
I'm sure.
you've got one, haven't you, Deacon? If he's on top of his form, he could maybe go.
Well, he came back last week from a long way off and certainly played very well for us and made a big difference, so I'm sure he'll be holding his hand up again this week.
Good, Steve-O, you said Tony Smith will pick men in form. He is the man in form and has been all year, but he's retired from international football.
So you want me to say that he should bring him back?
No, I'm asking the question.
If he's retired, he's retired.
OK. We'll have to ask Tony Smith, and we will. Here is Leon Price. This is Wellens. Mind you, well, we'll come back to that in a minute, because here's Long once again. Dabs the kick in, looking for Melly! Loses it forward, though. Sean Long has set Super League alight and has set British Rugby League alight for 12 years. I think he's done it about twice against the Aussies, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he's not on his own in that department.
No, he isn't.
So let's not just point the finger at him.
Eddie, Wigan are doing remarkably well here. The 4 minutes from half-time, if they can go in at only 12 points behind, they're still alive in this match. And it's the best half against St Helens in the 3 games they've played, even though they've only had 12 players on the field for the majority of it. They need to grind their way through it, and if they can make it a grinding contest, they have a chance. If it becomes about skill and flow and pace, Saints will probably blow them away.
I'm with you on that one, Phil, but the big problem for Wigan is that will they have enough energy late in this game?
That's a great kick. That's put St Helens right back in the corner here with Adi Gardner. Good chase also by Harrison Hansen. Plays the ball to Gidley. Gidley then in field to Wellens.
Andy, move! Wait, go.
Roby and Kalis.
3. Stand Joel!
Pretty solid defence, but you've got to notice how St Helens just shut things down, don't they? They don't rush, they don't panic.
No, they just offload like that. Here is Farsavalou. There's another one. Gilmore over the top. Is that forward? No. Referee says play on. It looked a touch forward. Here's Gardner.
I think the last one was.
Maybe came off ahead of the Wigan defender. I don't know. Roby, Farsavalou.
Eddie, Wigan have been down to virtually 10 defenders in that defensive line. Gareth Hock injured, limping around. He's not played any part in the last 30 seconds. Those spaces between your teammates must look massive if you're in a cherry and white shirt at the moment.
He's got it on a string at the moment, Sean Long. That's another fine kick. Just backspin, just stopped into the corner.
It's Colbon trying to get away from Wilkin and Kalis and Talau. It's an impossible task.
Just so much craft in this St Helens outfit. The way that they work hard for each other, get themselves in a position, and they've got so many good kickers in their side. Put it down. You know, if you're watching this game, oh, that's a big error. That'll be a knock-on, no advantage. Saints, they'll be happy about this just before half-time. Oh, Carroll, the culprit. Oh, it was whipped out. That looked like a flick out one-on-one. Did it go backwards?
Come on, you're not down, guys.
Either way, the official didn't see it that way.
Head in. Gareth,
Now, will we see Leon Price do one of his fancy little runs?
Here he is. Well, it was a near fancy little run.
Move, George!
Roby, nearly.
Yeah, near.
This is Flannery.
Didn't look all that fancy either.
Well, it's been a torrid first half for Brian Noble to endure. Here is Long. Good defence on Wilkin by Darryl Goulding. Roby. That's a knock-on. Rain is teeming down. Both sides having difficulty controlling the ball.
Keep working, guys. Here we are, second rolls and locks behind.
Not the best pass, but Cayley should have had it. There's confirmation.
High summer in Wigan.
Yeah.
Arms around, Christian.
It's not cold.
Find him forward yourself.
It's not hot either.
Joel, Harrison.
A bit wet.
Harrison. That's it.
That,
2 hands.
I would agree on it. That was a big relief, you know, for Wigan. If Saints had scored there just before half-time, you would have to... Oh, they have got their chance.
They have. This is Long. On the inside it goes. Good defence from Carmont, though.
I was just going to say that Wigan will be pleased that they're only 12 points adrift, but they could be even more now.
Long again, fires the pass to Leon Price. Here is Wellens. Wellens taking them on himself, Coley, and number 22 for Wigan, Joel Tompkins. Price pops the ball up. Willie Talau is halted short of the line, but only just short of the line. Fastavalou.
Great defence.
Great numbers from Wigan.
This will be the last go, I would say.
Long. Back it comes to Leon Price. Here is Gilmore. There is Gidley. And there is a try. Number 22 of the season for Aidy Gardner. Gidley was over the line, could have scored it himself. But that is the 22nd try of the season for Aidy Gardner, Super League's top scorer, and they will not give him an easier one to score than that. Gilmore is hurt in the build-up to the try.
Quick
There's
hands.
the scorer.
Quick hands, Eddie. That's all they needed. Just kept it alive. And you give up possession at a huge risk against this St Helens outfit. But what about the unselfish work by the Australian Matt Gidley? There's the error. Hockett was, couldn't hang on to it. Back on the inside. They were running out of numbers, running out of time. But they finally got themselves into a position. And watch for the man that's just played the ball there, Gidley. He's out wide. He's virtually over the line when he passes it. So unselfish. And that highlights the wonderful team spirit that has been generated in the St Helens, and that looked very late, didn't it?
It was Mathers on Gilmore, and that has gone on report.
Dearie me. That is shocking.
That could have been a second red card.
Well, to be fair, the arm is down. The shoulder makes the impact, but I think when you see it, and I'm sure we'll see it at half-time.
Well, that's on report, the incident.
Well, case for an 8-point try, just to explain, that means that a penalty kick is taken after this conversion attempt in front of the post. We don't often see them in rugby league, but if ever there was a case for one, that should be a potential 8-point try.
Long doesn't manage to add the extras. There's the half-time siren. St Helens lead by 22 points to 6. Ashley Klein does not award the penalty in front of the posts for